Good morning to all of you. Today we are going to discuss a new topic in your classical mechanics, that is your belongs to relativity, special theory of relativity, that is relativistic mass and momentum. That means if a mass or a particle having mass m0, its rest mass m0, and this particle is going to be moved with a velocity approximately velocity of c, then is its mass, rest mass, is going to be changed or it will be same as the rest mass. That things we are going to discuss in this topic. This is one of the important topic also in this chapter. So I suggest you watch this video carefully and also pause the video and write down the note. Here I am going to explain this topic directly from the book. Okay, so you have to watch carefully this topic what I'm explaining from the book, and pause the video and write down the note accordingly. Okay, so let's start. So put the heading as relativistic mass and momentum. Okay, now we know that according to classical mechanics, the mass of a body is a constant quantity. Okay, it is independent of speed of the body. That means according to classical mechanics, if a body uh, having mass m0, it is moving with a velocity v, then its mass always be m0. It is not going to be changed according to um, classical mechanics, or you can say Newtonian mechanics, or according to Galilean transformation. Both are same. This classical mechanics or Newtonian mechanics or Galilean transformation is in the are in same format. Okay, are in same format or same meaning, we can say. Now further, the linear momentum of the body of the mass moving with the velocity v is given by p equal to mv. Okay, for an isolated system, the total linear momentum of a system is conserved. This is known as principle of conservation of linear momentum, which is a consequence of homogeneity of the space. That means according to classical mechanics, these things is happens. Conservation of linear momentum we can found, okay, of a isolated system. Now we have learned from the last section, the velocity transformation rule in special relativity is different from that in Galilean relativity. So here Galilean relativity means Newtonian relativity. Okay, the relativity what we can observe in Newtonian mechanics. That means the body is moving with a velocity v is very less than that of the c. Okay, but in our last section, that means in your Lorentz transformation equations, by using Lorentz transformation equation, we found velocity transformation rule in special relativity is different, which is not matched with Galilean relativity. So we therefore guess that relativistic expression for mass and momentum of a moving body would be different from the corresponding non-relativistic expressions. So as velocity is changed according to special theory of relativity, so anybody can be guess the momentum is nothing but mv. So corresponding momentum can be changed or will be different as compared with non-relativistic expressions or Newtonian mechanics or Galilean relativity, like that. So here I suggest you just write down this summary. We can say this is the summary of this topic. You just write down in your note. But in the exam, you have to write down in short. this much. That means you can write in your exam that um, in case of relativistic mechanics, special theory of relativity, velocity is not same from one frame of reference, one frame to another frame of reference, or it is not same with Galilean transformation. So hence, it can be expected that the momentum in case of relativistic expressions also will be changed or will be different as compared with non-relativistic expressions. So this much can be write what I told the two lines. But now in note you have to write this much, it will be better. Okay. Now come to the derivation part. First we have to consider the relativistic expression for mass of a moving body. So here there is not A, only the heading you have to write relativistic mass and momentum. Here you have to put A is the relativistic expression for the mass of the moving body. Next we have to consider the momentum. Okay. Now here we derive an expression for mass by considering the central inelastic collision between two particles of equal mass, which is illustrated in figure 14.1. Here in book it is written that 14.11, but here you have to write in figure 1. For this topic, this figure, this whole figure means collectively 4 figures. Okay, whole figure you have to consider as figure 1. So relativistic expression for the mass we have been considered in inelastic collision between the two particles of equal mass. Here this is the figure. Here you have to write figure 1. Only figure 1. No need to write this one. Figure A, B. Okay, you write, it will be better. This is figure 1B. This is your figure 1A. Okay. Now, in figure 1A, what we can found here, this is the stationary state, S frame of reference. We can say one frame, that is S, which is at steady state, which is at rest. This is X axis, Y axis and Z axis of this S frame. Another frame, S dash, this is S dash. Components are X dash, Y dash, X dash, Y dash, Z dash. This is the origin, and this frame of reference S dash is moving along positive x-axis direction with respect to S with a velocity how much? V equal to IV. That means it is moving along only positive x-axis direction. That means its component of velocity has only x-axis direction. So V equal to IV with a velocity V, that is IV. And two masses here, M1 and M2 in your S frame is moving. M1 is moving towards this side, positive x-axis direction with velocity U1. M2, another mass, is moving this side, negative x-axis direction. So obviously it will be written as minus U. And in S dash frame, this is your, suppose mass is M and mass is M, and this mass is moving with velocity omega towards this side, and this mass B, this is mass A or particle A moving with velocity omega towards this side, B having same mass towards this side with velocity minus omega. So here you can see that in S frame this mass is M1, this mass is M2, velocity is U1, and this is minus U2. And in S dash frame, both the mass is m, and velocity is omega, and for mass b, this body having the velocity is minus omega towards this side. So here in S frame, the observer can observe different masses. That means here mass is m, here mass is m1, means we can expect that this observer is going to observe that this mass is changes to from m to m1, and this mass is going to be changed from m to m2, and omega changes to u1, and this minus omega changes to minus u2 according to relativistic velocity addition. Okay, so this is our original, or you can say it is your real collision between the two masses, and this is your apparent collision. That means this observer is observing the incident or collision happens in S dash with change of mass of two bodies and corresponding velocities. Okay, now in figure 1b you can see that after sometimes in S dash frame both the mass is going to be collide with each other and come to the rest, because here both the mass have equal and the velocity are also magnitude is same and opposite with each other. So when these two mass is going to be collide with each other, then they are going to be at rest in your S dash frame. But the observer who is sitting here, he can observe that after collision both the two masses are going to be moved with the velocity v. Why? Because this S dash is moving with velocity v. Okay, as this S dash is moving with velocity v with respect to S frame, so observer who is sitting at here, that means in S frame, that observer is going to be observe that after collision both two mass is moving with the velocity v towards positive x-axis direction. Okay, now same thing it is written in the language, and you have to write down in your note by pausing the video. What? The frames S and S dash are a relative motion. S dash is moving with respect to S with a constant velocity v equal to I cap v according to a stationary observer O dash. That means stationary observer O dash. I am moving to the next page. Okay, O dash. The figure you have to keep in your mind. Okay, O dash. In S dash frame, two particles A and B of equal mass moving parallel to the x-axis with a velocity UA dash equal to omega and UB dash equal to minus omega respectively. Here parallel means we can say parallel it is written move okay, parallel, no problem. Parallel means here this mass is moving this side, this mass is moving this side, and here I written minus omega means we can write parallel motion of these two particle A and B. If we have to write anti-parallel, then we have to write omega, and this is also omega. Here I written minus omega means I can write parallel to x-axis with the velocities UA dash equal to omega and UB dash equal to minus omega respectively. An observer O, that is stationed means situated in a S frame, measures their velocity UA equal to U1 and UB equal to minus U2 as considering the velocity addition. So considering velocity addition, the observer who is sitting in S frame, he is the person going to observe that the velocity of this and this A and B is going to be changed. Let that is your U1 and minus U2, and corresponding mass also is going to be changed. He is the person going to be observed. Let this is your mass M1 and M2. So and measures their masses as M1 and M2 respectively. So in S frame, which is stationary, from the S frame, the observer is going to measure the velocities are U1 and U2 of the particle A and B respectively, and corresponding masses will be M1 and M2 respectively. At the instant of collision, two particles are momentarily at rest in S dash frame, what I explained. So when the two particles is going to collide with each other, as both the velocity magnitude is same and opposite with each other, then and mass also equal, in S dash frame they are going to be rest. But as this S dash frame is moving with velocity v with respect to S, then the observer here is going to observe that both the masses with contact moving towards this side, positive x-axis direction with velocity v. Same thing here it is written. You pause the video and write down this one, this language. Okay. In S frame, the observer O in S frame sees the moving together. Sees them means both the particle collectively. Okay. Sees them moving together. Moving together means both the two masses moving together with the velocity v in x direction. Since collision does not make the space inhomogeneous, we expect that the principle of conservation of linear momentum is valid. So applying conservation, so this line may you can write or may you are not going to write, no problem, is valid, because this line you can write or no need to write in your note, no problem. Now directly you have to write applying conservation of linear momentum in S system we have. So in S frame or S system, if we have to consider the conservation of linear momentum, this is your before collision momentum is equal to after collision momentum, linear momentum. So before collision, total linear momentum in S system, how much? In S system, it will be M1 U1 plus M2 minus U2. Okay, same thing it is written. This is your, you just write, we have, you just write linear momentum. Here LM means linear momentum before collision. You have to write in word. Okay, here I shortly written, but you have to write linear momentum before collision equal to linear momentum after collision. Here I written with in short SC, but you have to write after collision. Okay, so we found M1 U1 plus M2 minus U2 equal to M1 plus M2 into V. So that implies M1 into U1 minus V. See, M1V taken this side. So we can get M1 into U1 minus V here. Minus here minus M2 U2. Minus M2 U2 can be taken this side. RHS we can found M2 into U2 plus V. Okay. So that implies M1 by M2 will be equal to U2 plus V by U1 minus V. This is U2 plus V by U1 plus, sorry, U2 plus V by U1 minus V. So here I suggest that you have to write down, this is your equation number 1, this is your equation number 2, and this is your equation number 3. So now we have to consider the velocity transformation rule. So according to velocity transformation rule, u1 will be equal to this much. Why? Because according to relativistic addition of velocity, what we found, these are the six equations that you have to remember always. This is your ux dash, uy dash, uz dash, that is from s dash frame. From s frame, ux, or in s frame somebody is going to be observed. This observer is going to be observed according to relativistic addition of velocity. Then ux will be ux dash plus v by 1 plus v by c square ux dash. So here ux dash is nothing but is your omega, is your omega. So we can write u1, that means velocity of a particle A in S frame, that is your u1, right? Velocity of the particle A, this is your A and this is your B, this is your B. So velocity of particle A, this is your A mass and B mass, okay? A mass, B mass, velocity of particle A in S frame, that is your u1. u1 will be equal to, according to relativistic velocity addition, it will be written as velocity of S dash frame, that is your V, plus velocity of the particle A in S dash frame, that is your omega, okay, divided by 1 plus V by C square ux dash. Here ux dash nothing but omega. So we have to write 1 plus V omega by C square. Let it is your equation number 4. Similarly, u2 will be how much? It will be this much, minus v plus omega by 1 minus v by omega by c square. Actually it is written directly, but you can see that minus u2 will be equal to how much? Will be equal to v plus minus omega by 1 plus your v into minus omega by c square, okay? So that implies u2 will be equal to, this minus is going to be multiplied to the right side, it will be minus v, this is minus, that means plus omega by 1 minus, this is minus, so 1 minus v omega by c square. So these two steps has been omitted. Directly it has written that u2 equal to this much, minus v plus omega by 1 minus v omega by c square. This is your equation number 5. I suggest you have to write these two steps before equation number 5. It will be better for you for further understanding. Whenever you are going to be study your note, you can understand easily. Now we have to consider u2 plus v. So here u2 means minus v plus omega by 1 minus v omega by c square plus v will be equal to omega into 1 minus v square by c square divided by 1 minus v omega by c square, okay? See, this is the simple addition only. This 1 minus v omega by c square is going to be multiplied with v in the numerator, and we can get v is going to cancel. By taking omega is common, we can get this one, and this is only simple addition. Let it is your equation number 6. Similarly, u1 minus v, u1 is your v plus omega by 1 plus v omega by c square minus v. That minus v we can get this much, that will be your omega into 1 minus v square by c square by 1 plus v omega by c square. Let it is your equation number 7. Now we have to substitute this equation number 6 and 7. Now substituting equation 6 and 7 in equation number 3. In equation number 3, what we are going to get? In equation number 3, we have m1 by m2 u2 plus v by u2 minus v. Only for that we have been calculated this u2 plus v and u1 minus v. These two value we are going to be substitute in equation number 3, and we found that is your first u2 plus v. u2 plus v means omega into 1 minus v square by c square by 1 minus v omega by c square whole divided by omega into 1 minus v square by c square by 1 plus v omega by c square. So we can found m1 by m2. This term 1 plus v omega by c square will go to the numerator. So 1 plus, and this term is going to be cancelled out, and 1 plus v omega by c square by 1 minus v omega by c square. Let it is your equation number 8. Let it is your equation number 8. Now we have to calculate 1 minus u1 square by c square will be how much? That it is your 1 minus, this is 1 by c square will be here, this 1 by c square, u1 value is this one, v omega by, that is your equation number 4, v plus omega by 1 plus v omega by c square, that is your v plus omega square by 1 plus v omega by c square whole square. Now after simplification, this one just simple addition, you can check in your rough. By simplification we found 1 minus v square by c square, this is 1 minus v square by c square into 1 minus omega square by c square whole divided by 1 plus v omega by c square whole square. Okay, then we can get 1 minus u1 square by c square root over will be, this we found 1 minus u1 square by c square. Now if we are going to consider root over, that means to the power 1 by 2, then this term to the power 1 by 2 to the power 1 by 2 means this square is going to be removed. So what we found, that 1 minus u1 square by c square to the power 1 by 2 will be equal to 1 minus right hand side 1 minus v square by c square to the power 1 by 2 into 1 minus omega square by c square to the power 1 by 2, and here 1 plus v omega by c square we are going to be found, because here it is square, so root over means square is going to be removed, and we found 1 plus v omega by c square. Let it is equation number 9. Okay, so these things we found from by using equation number 4. Similarly, by using equation number 5 we can found, this is similarly from equation number 5, from 5 we can obtain that 1 minus u2 square by c square to the power 1 by 2 will be equal to 1 minus v square by c square to the power 1 by 2 into 1 minus omega square by c square to the power 1 by 2 whole divided by 1 minus v omega by c square. So here you can see this equation and this equation is very similar, but here it is 1 plus v omega by c square, here 1 minus v omega by c square. This is only difference. So this is your equation number 10. So here we found that 1 minus u1 square by c square root over is this much, equation number 9. 1 minus u2 square by c square root over is this much. Now we have to divide these two equations. Now by dividing 9 by 10 you can write, no need to write, consequently this by this, that means this by this, consequent that means here 10, equation number 10 by equation number 9. Okay, equation number 10 by equation number 9. What we can found, this is your 1 minus u2 square by c square root over by 1 minus u1 square by c square root over will be equal to this much divided by this much. So this term same is cancelled out. So here plus is going to be numerator. You just check in your note, this divided by this 10 by 9. So here this is 1 plus v omega by c square will be moved to the numerator. This will be 1 plus v omega by c square whole divided by 1 minus v omega by c square. So here we found that 1 minus u2 square by c square root over by 1 minus u1 square by c square root over is equal to 1 plus v omega by c square by 1 minus v omega by c square. Let it is your equation number 11. Now the equation number 1 is going to be substituted in equation number 8. Okay, here we found in equation number 11, that is 1 plus v omega by c square by 1 minus v omega by c square in RHS. Equation number 8 is same, 1 plus v omega by c square by 1 minus v omega by c square. So now substituting equation number 11 into equation number 8, we obtain, that is your m1 by m2 is equal to m1 by m2 is equal to this by this by this. So let this is your equation number 12. Okay, so that implies just cross multiplication we have here. So m1 into 1 minus u1 square by c square root over is equal to m2 into 1 minus u2 square by c square root over. Let it is your equation number 13. So in order to equation number 13 to hold good for all values of u1 and u2, it is necessary that both sides of this equation number 13 has to be equal to a constant. Let m0. Here m0 is nothing but rest mass of the particle. So now if this equal to m0, no need to write like this. Here I am explaining. If this equal to m0, then m1 will be equal to m0 by 1 minus u1 square by c square to the power 1 by 2, and m2 will be equal to m0 by 1 minus u2 square by c square root over. Okay, here no need to write like this. So in general, let this equation, this two, m1 equal to this one, m2 equal to this one, let this is equation number 14. So the equation number 14 that can be written in the general form that m will be m0 by 1 minus v square by c square root over. We know that 1 by 1 minus v square by c square root over is gamma into m0. This is your equation number 15, you can write. So here carefully you have to watch. Here instead of u1 and u2 we have been written v. So don't be confused that this v is the velocity of s dash frame. No, here we written v is the velocity of s dash frame, but here we have been substituted v instead of u1 and u2. So here v is represents the velocity of the particle. Okay, this is the velocity of the particle what has been observed in s frame. In s frame, what is the velocity has been observed, that velocity, that is your v. Here we have been written. Okay, no need to you should not be confused. So here by considering equation number 14 and 15, we can get some interesting results that are here. You can found that if u1 equal to 0 or u2 equal to 0, m1 will be equal to m0, m2 equal to also m0. Okay, when u2 equal to 0, that is your m0 is the mass of the particle at rest. So it is called the rest mass of the particle. So when we have to consider u1 and u2 both 0, m1 will be m0, m2 will be m0. That means the mass of the particle at rest. So it is also called the proper mass. Proper mass means rest mass of the particle as measured in the inertial frame of reference in which particle is at rest. So where the particle is at rest, in that frame, the mass of the particle is called as proper mass. Okay. So m is the mass of the particle moving with the speed v. So here m is the mass will be changed, or we can say improper mass or changed mass when the particle is going to move with a speed v. So as gamma is greater than 1, so here 1 by 1 minus b square by c square root over into m0, that is gamma into m0. So we know that gamma greater than 1, so hence m equal to gamma into m0, that will be m will be greater than that of the m0. So that is the mass of the particle moving with the speed v larger than the rest mass by factor gamma. Since mass varies with speed v, so we can write in special theory of relativity, mass equal to function of velocity, equal to m function of velocity. Okay, so here we found mass is the function of velocity. So another interesting fact we can observe that here we found that m equal to gamma into m0 rest mass, or m equal to 1 by 1 minus v square by c square. Gamma means 1 by 1 minus v square by c square into m0. Okay. So another interesting fact we can found that is when v is very less than that of c, then m will be approximately to the m0. Here you can see that when v is less than that of the c, so this term v square by c square is very less than that of the 1. So this 1 by 1 minus v square by c square will be equal to 1. So m will be equal to, so m is approximately to the m0 when v is very less than that of the c. Or considering the Newtonian mechanics, m will be approximately to the rest mass m0. So it means that if the speed of the particle is much less than that of the speed of the light, the rest mass m0 and relativistic mass m are indistinguishable. That means could not be distinguishable or will be approximately equal. So here we can see the graph. First I have to discuss, then I am going to consider this, I'll be explain this graph. Further, if v tends to c, here comma is there. Okay, when v tends to c, that means 1 minus v square by c square will be equal to 0, because when v tends to c, this will be equal to v square by c square will be how much? 1. So 1 minus 1 will be equal to 0. So when v tends to c, this 1 minus v square by c square root over tends to 0. Hence, we know that m equal to 1 by 1 minus v square by c square. This factor 1 by v square by c square is going to be 0. So 1 by 0 will be infinite. So m tends to infinite. So relativistic mass is going to be tends to infinite. It means that if the speed of the particle approaches to the speed of the light, its mass increases without bound. So a plot of m by m0 versus v by c is shown in figure this one. So here you can write figure 1. You can see that with along x-axis we have been considered as v by c, along this axis we have been considered m by m0. So when v is very less, approximately equal to 0, then m by m0 will be equal to 1. Okay. That means when V is very less, so B by C will be less. So when V by C is less, very less, then we can get M by M0 equal to 1, because M, relativistic mass, and rest mass is equal or equivalent, we can say, for V less than that of the C, or we can say V less than that less than that of the C. That means V by C less than that of 1. Okay, so when V by C is very less, then M by M0 is approximately 1. So as V by C is increases, that means when V equal to C, that it will be C by C equal to 1. So when V by C equal to 1, then M by M0 will be equal to infinite, because for V equal to C, M tends to infinite, hence M by M0 tends to infinite. So draw this graph perfectly. Next class we are going to be discuss relativistic expression for linear momentum. So watch this video carefully, write down the note by pause the video. Carefully you have to write the note, and thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you.